Dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you all to hear and see this video message. Today we are going to discuss about Hindu radicalization in India. Content for this video I given in the description. You can go through and study. Narendra Modi is a Hindu nationalist leader who supports the ideology that defines Hindustan as a state for Hindu people. This nationalism is beyond cultural or ethnical nationalization because the word Hindu represents religion. Therefore, this is a religious nationalism which excludes other religions. Hindu nationalism has been continuing since the late period of British colonialism in the Indian subcontinent. However, it began to get radicalized, especially after its independence from the British. After 2014, when BJP won majority seats in the parliament and formed the government under Modi leadership, the world could see the establishment of the total radicalized nationalist movement based on religious identity. After 2014 election, the ideology of Hindutva started to spread with state support. The BJP union government uses policies and creates discourse to legitimize their activities, including open and secret support to violent activities throughout the country against Muslims and Christians. They are propagating against Muslims and slandering Islam all the time. Using memories such as the Mumbai attack and discourse of Islamic terror and jihad, they create fear among the Hindi people of the country. The Muslim is discursively constructed as a site of fear, fantasy, distrust, anger, envy, and hatred, thus generating desires of emulsion, abduction, and extermination. BJP and RSS normal response towards the blatant bigotry against the Muslim is, look how Hindus were oppressing during the Muslim rule, then they will turn into the maltreatment of bandits in Kashmir. After that, they may talk about the activities of the Taliban, ISIS, and finally they come to Pakistan and highlight the maltreatment of the Hindus there to justify Hindu radicalization in India. Hindu first policies, symbols and feelings are now predominant in politics, in the media, among the police and public life. The radicalization template was created in Narendra Modi's Gujarat, where a rich Hindu can stop a rich Muslim from buying the house next door by filing a case under the Disturbed Areas Act, meant to keep the communities apart and relegate Muslims to ghettos. The complicity of government officials, police, politicians, and part of judges in the creation of the Hindu Rashtra, the Hindu nation, has now gone national. For Modi, whose Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party uses Muslim as the electoral boogeyman to consolidate a culturally diverse and caste-driven Hindu vote base against a common other, it makes sense to bang on about Muslim radicalization all the same as a means of Hindu mobilization. The core messaging that emanates these days from Hindu supremacists is that development is not possible for all because of Muslims, who constitute 14% of the population, are eating up the fruits of progress that should accrue to the Hindus, who account for 80%. In fact, the lethal challenge India faces is Hindu radicalization. It's not the open call for genocidal violence against Muslims by Hindu ascetics in a Dharam Sanchat in Haridwar in 2021 a sign of Hindu radicalization? Hindu radicalization is a real threat precisely because it has the backing of the state, influential politicians, and even part of the judiciary. World leaders apparently prioritize maintaining a strategic relationship with India to counter China and Russia. not understanding that this willful and convenient ignorance is amplifying state-sanctioned violence against the 220 million Muslims and 30 million Christians in India. Many Hindus have now been persuaded to believe that India's biggest problem in its Muslims. Before Modi took over in 2014, most citizens thought their chief concern were poverty, insufficient economic growth and corruption. He rode from power on the promise to fix all that. But as the economic has continued to worsen and employment and poverty has risen under him, the BJP has increasingly fallen back on supremacist policies to deflect attention and evade responsibility. To keep winning election, it needs to keep polarizing Hindu voters against Muslims and spinning ever more outrageous campaigns to demonize Muslims. Religious festivals nowadays have been completely taken over by RSS and BJP activists and fringe elements like Bajrang Dal and Vishwa Hindu Parishad for communal polarization. Civil society has pointed out that the idea of Hindutva supremacy is being carried out through radicalization of youth who have found employment through these violent acts. No one is talking about Hindu radicalization or Hindu terrorism as they are using these terms for Islam. Why are there not much criticism and discourse about Hindu radicalization, violent extremism of Hindu radicalized nationalist movement or Hindu terror? Bible talks about radicalization of Hindutvists in India in Jeremiah chapter 9 verse 8. For there, that is Hindutva tongues shoot lies like poisoned arrows. With their mouths they all speak cordially to their neighbors, that is Muslims and Christians, but in their hearts they set traps for them.